5 p.m. in Accra, Ghana, 6 p.m. in Douala, Cameroon. Ladies and gentlemen, you are on to the primetime newscast on Equinox Television, live from our central news desk in Douala, Cameroon. With me, Armstrong Sander. In this edition of the news, Ecom Polycarp, an ex-Amazonian fighter who dropped his weapons as requested by President Paul Biya of the Republic of Cameroon and confessed during the installation ceremony of the 33rd Senior Divisional Officer for Menchum Division in the northwest region of Cameroon, has been killed. He was reportedly killed about 5 hours after the event. Who killed him is a question. In this edition of the news, we shall equally be taking you to Ecom 1, that is a locality in the central region of Cameroon, where a gang of 5 bandits have been apprehended. Details in the minutes ahead. Thanks for staying with us. A Black Thursday in Womb, chief town of the Menchum Division of the northwest region of Cameroon, after the gruesome murder of Ecom Polycarp. Ecom Polycarp is an ex-Amazonian fighter. He confessed of having fought with the Amazonian camp that is fighting against the Cameroonian military and equally an ethnic group in the municipality within the context of the crisis ongoing in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. He made the confession and said he is ready to come back to normal life as requested by President Paul Biya of the Republic of Cameroon. The confession was equally made during the installation ceremony of the 33rd Senior Divisional Officer for Menchum Division in the northwest region of Cameroon. Simanjikan Gabriel tells us more.
The last outing of Ecom Polycarp at the Womb Ceremonial Ground in Menchum, Northwest Region, as the new Senior Divisional Officer was commissioned into office on Wednesday. In his outing as a repentant separatist fighter, though still a doubting Thomas, his presence at the event was to observe if the peace requested by President Paul Biya was real.
Freedom given by the President. I came to see if truly the freedom has been granted into this division by the military around me, by other people I see, so that I can call on my brothers back at the bushes to come and believe in me that so truly I was here and nothing happens to me. So I wish and I believe nothing will happen to me today.
He also confessed of fighting against the military and Muslim persons, which he asked to be forgiven.
We were 2 fighters at the bush. I fight with the armies, with the military people. I fight with the Muslims. I would not want us to take another court, to take a way forward, since the peace has come to us. I would want any of the military people to come, I embrace him, or one of the Muslim people too to come, I embraced. So that as from today henceforth, at this municipality, nothing again will ever happen.
After the handshakes and hugs he received, little did people know it was the last time Ecom Polycarp will be seen alive. The repentant separatist fighter was butchered into pieces at Zonkwo, a village located in the outskirts of Womb, by unknown persons. The brutal killing of Ecom Polycarp has left many to question the government, while he wasn't transferred directly to the regional office of the DDR Commission after dropping his arms. Investigations are on course to track down the killers of Ecom Polycarp.
Congratulations. Don't be afraid. You are free. Come, shoot them the other guy. Come.
In Ozom, that is a locality on the outskirts of the city of Yaoundé in the central region of Cameroon, a gang of 6 bandits have been apprehended by a mixed element of gendarme and police officers who descended to this locality after reports from local inhabitants that they have been terrorized by this group of persons. Hemine Luga tells us more.
Here is still hiding in Ozom 1, a little village situated at the west end of Jaren Lobo at the outskirts of Yaoundé. According to the population, they are a gang of 6. They are alleged robbers reputed in the consumption of hard drugs and unspeakable acts of robbery and terror in the area. The visit of elements of the National Gendarmerie on this fateful day comes as a sign of relief to the locals. In your hiding huts, all sorts of stolen goods have been discovered, and in the eyes of the observers is perceived shock. Perfectly traumatized, the population took the law in their hands previously as they sought to render justice by laying hands on the bandits and treating them personally. This lady in her tears expresses the nightmare they face on a daily basis. She requests government intervention to ensure security.
Ça ne va pas. Le gouvernement est où? Le gouvernement est où? C'est tout grave. Ça va bien.
Quel que soit le cas, bloquez seulement tous les alentours. On va mettre main sur le coup là.
Une certaine petite maison.
According to the third-degree chief of Ozom 1, Jean Nzege Enyenge, the 6 culprits have been hiding in the village since 1 year, causing terror.
De fumeurs de cannabis qui viennent de Yaoundé.
In the same move, Fabrice Nana Tonga, president of Sons and Daughters from the West region in Ozom 1, complains of businesses vandalized by the gang, which also brutalizes women. The women testify how they are beaten in the bushes when they go into the farms.
Donc nous sommes dépassés, ils viennent nous prendre l'argent chaque fois, ils viennent avec les bandits.
This other dweller complains how they are troubled regularly and even threatened to have their kids kidnapped.
On en a marre, nos enfants, ils disent qu'on va kidnapper nos enfants.
Devant toutes les populations, quelle humiliation! Ils disent qu'ils sont mes enfants.
The third-degree chief of Ozom 1 further criticizes here the acts of the gang, claiming to be sons of the area. He refutes their acts while he prones living together.
Ça c'est la République. Et ils sont là mélangés avec les autochtones et les halogènes.
Meantime, it is reported that the senior divisional officer of the area recently calmed the situation, encouraging the community to live peacefully. The alleged bandits on your part have been apprehended and taken to the Lobo-based National Gendarmerie.
Jana Yves Bertrand is the new senior divisional officer for the Mungo division of the Littoral region of Cameroon. Commissioning him into his function, the governor of the Littoral region, Samuel Diodene Ivahad Dibois, urged him to fight hard to work against urban disorder, insanity, ill health, and other challenges plaguing the people of the Mungo division. More with EQUINOXE.
Monsieur Jana Yves Bertrand Noël, prenez le commandement.
Mungo Division of the Littoral Region gets a new senior divisional officer, Jana Yves Bertrand Noël, who fits in the shoes of the outgoing senior divisional officer, Galim Gong Irene. He takes over a division which has its own challenges. Thus, the population recommends he puts on the suits of dynamism to tackle diverse problems like modernization of the central town through demolition of obsolete infrastructures, attends to and address land disputes.
On ne sait pas que tout ce que nous entendons, terrain domanial, terrain communautaire, il faudrait qu'il soit attentif, qu'il soit vraiment vigilant.
Fight against urban disorder, including insanity, and above all, wrestle conflicts of personal interest.
On a la chance d'avoir un délégué du gouvernement. On a presque 3 maires.
La ville est sale et puis les gens ne sont pas ordonnés dans cette ville. C'est vraiment une honte pour nous.
Governor Samuel Zudeneva Dubois of the Littoral region, while installing the new civil administrator, urged him to step down from the comfort bed and ameliorate the living condition of the Mungo population by waging war against poverty, ill health, by ensuring smooth functioning of health centers, and most especially maintain order in the division.
Bien plus, nous allons apporter toute l'assistance nécessaire à tous les magistrats municipaux du Mungo.
Njana Yves Bertrand Nuel, father of 4 children, before his appointment as Senior Divisional Officer for the Mungo Division, was serving as SDO for Faro and Deo Division in the Adamawa region.
And the Kumba 2 subdivision of the Meme Division, Southwest region of Cameroon, the newly installed divisional officer has been urged to maintain peace and encourage living together in the area that is suffering the crisis hitting the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. The call was made by the Kumba at the Kumba grandstand by the senior divisional officer for the Meme, Ntundong Chamberlain, as he commissioned Ali Nugu Anugu into office today. Ali Anugu takes over from Safu Rouge, who's been moved to serve the Republic in another part of the country. The new divisional officer for Kumba 1 in this excerpt speaks of the task ahead of him.
Keen attention, instructions, orientations of work from the senior divisional officer, Meme, a few minutes ago. And I think I'm taking over command, the head of Kumba 1 subdivision, at the time when we still have some of our brothers and sisters still in the bushes who are reticent to lay down their arms. I think I've come to work with the population, and our priority will be to continue sensitizing these our young brothers and sisters to lay down their arms, to permit us bring life back to normal in the Kumba Central Subdivision, and to enable people to go about their daily economic activities history.
And within the crisis hitting the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, the people highly affected by the crisis are equally suffering the lack of national ID cards, birth certificates. Some of them say their identification documents have been consumed by the fire that has razed villages, towns in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. More in the following report.
The burning of thousands of houses and properties in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon has rendered thousands of Anglophones extremely vulnerable as they now go about without birth certificates, national identity card, school certificates and other important legal documents. This, according to African Justice for Peace Association, AJA, has an adverse effect on the effort to promote social and economic cohesion in the crisis-hit locality.
You see, we have registered over 1,000 people in Dongamantung who don't have birth certificate, and we all know how important this birth certificate are. So we have been able to distribute over 100 birth certificate to these people who need this birth certificate to do one or two things, maybe a national identity card, to register for their exams, and we are hopefully to have more partnership to do more birth certificate.
AJA and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, sees this as part of an early recovery mechanism to restore peace in the areas concerned.
The issue of IDPs too is very, very concerning. That's why we are putting in place a structure to reorganize the IDPs in Dongamandu so that we can have some people to represent them. In case of opportunities, in case of idea, they can share, they can easily communicate to the IDPs that we have here.
Above the loss of documents, most of the IDPs no longer have food, nowhere to stay.
I'm very, very optimistic about it. In this period where our regions have lost that aspect of peace building, they have come up with this idea.
AJA and the UNDP in their roundtable discussion impart vulnerable participants from the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon on the importance and the processes of establishing legal documents.
And barrister Michelle Ndoki has made her first public appearance after spending months in detention in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. She made some declarations after her release with regards to the post-electoral manifestation which took her and other militants of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement's political party to Kundinge, that is the Yaoundé Central Prison. She was speaking in the course of a Thanksgiving mass offered by the party sympathizers and supporters. She retraced her experience in the Yaoundé detention center, meantime alongside tens of hundreds of sympathizers of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement's political party. They denounced what they call injustice and equally the difficult detention conditions they went through in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. Ladies and gentlemen, that was all for the first part. Up next is Talking Point. Thanks for joining us on Talking Points. We are receiving a negotiator and equally a journalist, Tamai Jarvis. Tamai Jarvis, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. For me, I'm Sana. It's a privilege.
Tamai Jarvis, we'll begin with a key issue. I want to raise this today at exactly 11 a.m. You made a publication with regards to the killing of Icom Polycarp, an ex-Amber fighter. You stated and qualified fighters who drop arms like him as partners in peace, especially for a party like the government of the Republic of Cameroon within the context of the Anglophone crisis, and went further to say a killing of such partners in peace might deter or might disturb others from joining. I mean, who then should be blamed in the context where he confessed and they say about 5 hours later he's been killed?
Well, as a negotiator and as a journalist, I feel the blame, to be more precise, will fall under DDR. I must be honest with you that, as you rightly put it, I made the publication, and these people who drop their arms are called partner for peace. Yes. In a conflict like this, we are in an emotionally charged conflict. Okay. Permit me to just give you a brief synopsis as to where we are today. There are 3 stages of conflict. We call the first is direct conflict or direct violence. We have structural violence, and we have cultural violence. Now, structural violence is that kind of violence where state institutions deprive individuals like you and I, the common man, or minority groups with justice, peace, development. When minority groups are deprived from development, injustice, and when they don't have this basic, that's yes. Structural violence. Yes. Now, cultural violence is when a certain group of persons or individuals feel they are more superior and more intelligent than the others. And when we have structural violence adds to cultural violence, it now pushes the people to the streets. What becomes known as direct violence. Now, to solve this kind of conflict, there's what we call a policies and procedure.
No, is that first of all the case in the Northwest and Southwest?
The case in the Northwest and Southwest is as a result of structural violence. Okay. The structural violence was not actually diagnosed properly. I rephrase that structural violence is when state institutions deprive minority groups of their right to education, their right to justice, their right to peace, their right to development. When you neglect that aspect, now the leaders or the head now comes in a kind of cultural violence where certain individuals, as the case is with our brothers in other regions, feel like they are more superior than others, and now you get that kind of situation where the minority group already who is deprived of justice and peace and development now still feel like they are inferior because a certain group feel like they are mature. It produces what becomes known as direct violence, where we experience armed conflict. Now, note that structural violence, it has an effect in that if injustice is meted on an individual, that individual virtually dies. With direct violence, you shoot somebody, the person dies. The end point is that somebody must go down to 6 feet. So you see this, I think that when you have to solve such a conflict, there's what we call partner for peace. You have to look for those partners of peace. Who are those partners of peace? Partners of peace are individuals who are in this non-state armed group that actually have weapons and who have caused havoc and decide
like the Amber Boys in the case of the Anglophone,
like the case of Anglophone crisis, Kawa Yannick, who decide not to drop their arms. And partners of peace have 3 stages. One, those who in the course of the revolution were radicalized and felt like they have to pick up arms, and in the course of the revolution, they realize that they cannot continue the war, they have to drop out. Secondly, those whom equally feel like they were told that it's going to be a conflict for 2 years and eventually it's running to 4 years and cannot sustain, decide to drop out. Thirdly, these are people who probably have been talked to and decide to drop out. And when they decide to drop out, and there must be somebody very influential within the group, when you get this kind of people, we call them partner for peace. The government need to look for these partner for peace. When you get them, you develop what we call a policies and procedure. The case in Bamenda is as a result of lack of policies and procedures, what we call P&P. The government was more focused, or is more focused on the substance than the process. In negotiation, you don't focus on the substance.
What's the substance there?
The substance there is that the government was more focused on people dropping their arms, but they failed to guarantee the process. In negotiation, you focus on the process before you come to the substance. That's why you see the national dialogue ended. People are still confused as to what special status is. Now you have to guarantee the process. What is the process? Hey guys, Cameroonians, we are going for a major national dialogue. This is the process. When resolutions are reached at, this is what we will take to approve. It will be sent to this office. When it's sent to this office will send out to the president. The president now will make remarks and probably send to the parliament. Now, the people going now already understand that is a process. The same thing happened with this guy. Now, this is what we call the substance. The process is that the first you develop P&P. What is P&P? Policy and procedure. What does it entail for somebody to drop the arms? First, when the person drop the arm, who receive that person? Second, when the person is to make a public appearance, right? How would that person appear? Third, when the person make that public appearance, where would that person be taken to? Fourth, when the person is taken to any place, when that person eventually reintegrated into the society, who will follow up that person to ensure that that same person does not go back in the quarter or is not being killed? Those are policies and procedures that you develop before you come now with DDR. If you don't develop accurate policies and procedures, you will definitely end up with people being killed. The case was simple. This guy dropped his arms. He was supposed to, when this policies and procedure, or called checklist, you need to have a checklist of the DDR. First, when the guy dropped his arm, the second thing is that, who is this guy? You develop this guy's database. When you develop his database, you have to give that guy witness protection. It is whether he likes it or not, you must give a partner for peace witness protection. That witness protection guarantees that partner for peace to stay alive. Because if the partner for peace stay alive, it helps your process. But if the partner for peace dies, the other camps will easily tell, hi guys.
That's the most important partner for our listeners probably at this moment, but because they will be asking questions that who must have killed this person, what would be the gain if some other person, probably from the opposite camp, actually masterminded the killing of this person who died now. Do you think that his death might be like an advantage to the opposite camp and a disadvantage to the other camp? If yes, explain then.
I'm a peace builder. I love peace.
Yes.
And I like peace. But let me be honest with you as a negotiator. This killing would deter more people from dropping their arms. In negotiation, we'll say when you're going to an emotionally charged conflict, the first thing is that your partner for peace must be able to stay alive.
Okay.
He should not die. When he stays alive, it gives the prudence, it gives credence to you. You can easily convince others that we are taking you, we are not killing you. Now, the DDR did not establish a good policy and procedure. And maybe they should go back and establish a policy and procedure. When the partner for peace stay alive, you can easily convince others. But now, in this situation, a lot of theories can be given from the other side that maybe it was this person that killed,
yes,
this person killed, this person killed. So, for future events,
yes, that's why the people want to know who stands to gain what following the death of Polycarp. You are a negotiator in that aspect. Then that's what we're following up. Yes,
the government need to contact conflict builders or negotiators to work with the DDR centers to help them follow the process, normalize the process. Look at what happened in the ongoing national dialogue. The process was not normalized. When we talk about normalizing the process in such a way that you have to make it real. Now, for example, before you come with a special status, you explain that your offer, right, should not speak for itself. Don't just give an offer. The offer should be backed by an explanation. The Commission of Decentralization should sit and say, okay, we have decided that it's special status before even making it public. The special status, what is it? It is A, B, C, D, and E. The Anglophone will get this, that. Before you come and announce that. And when you announce that, you normalize the process. You tell them the various stages it will be involved to achieve that, such that these persons are well-ended to know that these are the process. But when you allow your offer to speak for itself, it casts doubt. Like people are asking, what is special status? What is this? That's why you see that even after the national dialogue, a lot of things were brought on the table as of people raising points like this and that. I think this should have been handled. If all of those 8 committee had 2 lawyers, 2 negotiators or conflict, those who are in charge of conflict to help normalize the process, there is still green light at the end of the tunnel where the government can use this stage and create a partner for peace and create policies and procedures where before you drop your arms, you must follow.
Like the possibility of dissolving the disarmament, demobilization and reintegration committee. Is that a possibility?
No, it's
dissolving
not. No, it should maintain the DDR. Now, the DDR needs to develop a good policy and procedure. What does it involve for somebody to drop the arms? When that person drop the arm, who take care of that person? Where does that person go to? When the person appear in public, what next? When the person finish appearing in public, what will be done to that person at the center? Those are the things that we call policies and procedure checklists. You do A, B, C, and T to guarantee that there is the partner for peace still alive.
As of now, it's not certain who killed Ecom Polycarp, but at your position as a negotiator and following international conflicts, conflicts out of Cameroon, the killing, the impact on the opposite side, we've actually talked about how it can affect the credibility of the government and consequently the DDR, but now on the opposite camp too. Well, is it not giving an possibility that he might have been killed by persons from the opposite camp, and equally the impact?
I must be said that we are in a state of law. Geneva Convention needs to be respected. There's no need killing an unarmed civilian. He was unarmed at the moment. There's no need killing the person. You cannot be fighting for democracy at the same time you kill the value for democracy. Yeah, you say we are in war. In war, you have to respect the Geneva Convention. But the sad reality there is that I think the respect for life is not being given. So it's still going to have a negative impact of whoever, both sides, regardless of who can make a good case out of it. Because you cannot be advocating for peace. If somebody is an ex-fighter and you feel like betrayed you, what you can do is to arrest the person than killing the person. There's always a room. I think that the first thing is we have to put in mind is that we have to call for a process whereby we form a reconciliation. I don't call it truth and reconciliation. I call it peace and reconciliation. When you're solving a conflict, you don't look at the harm. You look at what you have to gain. The person who probably is to put Cameroon on the spotlight maybe has been killed because of this conflict. It's so lost. Whether it's a military or the fighter, it's a blow to Cameroon.
It's a killing that has cost the lives of over 2,000 Anglophones, according to figures advanced by international non-governmental organizations. There's equally a possibility that he might have been killed by somebody who knew him so well, probably as a fighter, who masterminded the death of one of their family members or a friend.
I may not want to go to that hypothesis.
Why?
Because we cannot independently confirm that we are building peace. We don't look at what happened. Let's say that was such situation. Okay. Let's prevent it from not happening again, that they have to develop policies and procedure. They have to ensure that such a thing should not happen again. And secondly, we have to respect the life of the third party. The third party is a common man like you and I.
Okay, avoiding that it shouldn't happen again, does it only limit at the level of correcting the errors at DDR? Does it not go further, like holding some of the senior administrators responsible?
Well, I may not want to point fingers as to who or who not, but I feel like responsibility should be determined on policies and procedure. Good policies and procedure will help normalize the process.
Thank you very much, a negotiator. You are equally out for the promotion of peace. You are Atamai Jarvis, a journalist. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much for me, I'm Sana.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for staying with us on this edition of The News. Have a blessed stay in the company of programs on Equinox Television. Have a nice evening.